Business is very easy. It's just us who complicate it with overthinking and complexities.
Mm-hmm. And I guess not understanding too, right? So it gets complicated when you're trying to solve a complex problem in your mind, right? So you make it way more complex than it needs to be.
Absolutely, you overthink it. And it's just like, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'll get a pot, I'll get some soil and a seed, and then I'll water it every day. But the challenge with a lot of people is they have a lot of expectations going into business, and they think, oh, well, my business is going to make £1 million in the first month. But it's not the case. Starting a business is really a casual journey. It's just enjoying the ups and downs. And it's like, imagine you say, well, I'm going to go do a hike up Mount Everest. Okay. So it's not like, I need to get to the very top so quickly. You need to just walk the path and not stop and not move. That's not going to get you to the top of the mountain, but just walk the path and enjoy each moment that you're doing in that business.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Today on our podcast, we have Nancy Stadel from, hold on one second. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. On today's podcast, we have Nancy Stadel with us. Nancy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, Casey. And I'm really excited to educate your viewers a little bit more on business and intellectual property and artificial intelligence.
I'm excited to have you here. I've looked forward to our episode. Now, I'd love for you to start at the beginning. I want you to take our listeners on a journey of where you started and how did you end up where you are now?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, I'm born and bred in Canada, but I reside now in the UK for the last 25 years. I'm an international business consultant and intellectual property law specialist at the Business Mission. I specialize in AI, robots, and big data. I began my career with a very strong foundation in law and business, which has eventually led me to specializing in this international business consulting and intellectual property law division. Over the years, I started sort of with the basic law, but over the years, as we can see the digital era really evolving, I have stepped into AI and robots. And my journey has been really marked by continuous learning. I have achieved almost 3 master's degrees, one in international business law, an MBA in global law, and I'm just on my 3rd one, which is the international intellectual property law. So I think with all that knowledge that I've obtained, and I do also some other side courses, I can help my clients and individuals by advising corporations on those complex legal and business issues, and really pioneering that legal framework for AI and robotics. And I also speak at international conferences about this topic as well. So I think these experiences have really shaped my expertise and, positioned myself as an expert in that field as well.
Wow. And that's a lot. Like, how do you juggle and manage that all?
A diary. So I'm very organized. I slot everything in, I prepare the week ahead, and I am always available. Obviously, I don't like to use the word busy because then people, they don't invite you anywhere, or they don't ask you for, your services. So it's really about slotting everything in a diary so everything has a place that you can attend to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's been great, even getting your newsletters, learning more about what you're doing. How is this AI space especially in what you're doing? How is that evolving?
Well, it's massively evolving. I think, if you're not in the AI space and you're just sort of from the background, you're not really realizing how fast it's going. But I do think that entrepreneurs really need to understand how to use AI, because it offers this real transformation opportunities for innovation and a competitive advantage. So AI can automate many repetitive tasks. It can provide valuable insights through data, and it also can enhance decision-making processes. So in my work, I do help entrepreneurs integrate, their AI in their business models in a legally sound manner, and ensuring that they maximize the full potential while also protecting the intellectual property in the sphere of AI. So understanding AI is really crucial for entrepreneurs to drive growth, to optimize their operations, and to stay ahead of this very rapidly evolving market.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get into like robots? Like explain that process.
Well, I sort of dropped into it again with IP when I started my IP law degree in that direction. Overall, I mean, in my business law degree, actually 2018, there was a section of IP which got my attention. And again, it was just reading more and doing more courses. I've done an artificial intelligence and IP and robot course at Lund University. And it's just learning, like with robots, there's a lot of patents involved. If you are creating a robot, there will be a patent involved that you will need to, secure your IP for it. So it's a very fascinating and upcoming, sector to be into.
Right. And let me ask you, is it the same like chatbots? Do you have to do the same kind of intellectual property? Like, do you need to still protect it? How does that work? Chatbots, robots. Can you explain the difference in terms of what that means legally?
Yes. So just to explain to your viewers, in case they don't know what intellectual property law covers, it covers trademarks, copyrights, patents, trade secrets, even geographic locations, and industrial design as well. So with any sort of system, AI system, there will be some intellectual property involved. If you're using Chatbox or you're using ChatGPT or anything like that, there may be the copyright issue of the AI creating it. Now, remember, AI, artificial intelligence, and robots are different things. The artificial intelligence is the coding that goes into the robot to make it work. So then there's the robot. If you design a robot, like if you create a robot, like I think there was a chap in Russia who's created a robot, there's a patent for that. So if I sort of narrow it down to understand if I give an example of a phone, let's say, so in a mobile phone, the shape of the phone is an industrial design IP. So how the phone is shaped. The trademark, if we let's say take Apple as an example, the logo of the apple on the back of the phone is the trademark, and also the name is the trademark. And then the music that comes out of your phone or any sort of like sound, that's copyright. And the technology in the phone would be the patent.
Awesome. I love how you broke that down. Now,
Great.
I would love to get into the meat and potatoes of it because a lot of entrepreneurs are now using ChatGPT in their business in order to create everything, everyday content for themselves, right? Do you see this as an issue and where can they run into any potential issues?
Yes. Well, I see this as a great thing. I mean, I'm a really supporter of AI, but it's really important that I think one of the misconceptions is that AI generated content is automatically considered public domain. And in the reality is that businesses still need to obtain, the proper permission and license for any content created by using these AI tools. And, failure to do so can really result in legal consequences and financial losses. I always say it's a bit like a speeding ticket. So you might get away with it for a while, but it will catch up. So before you are adopting AI, any entrepreneurs that are adopting this AI, businesses should really conduct through an IP audit to identify and protect their valuable IP assets. So as I kind of step back again about trademarks, patents and copyrights and industrial design, they all need a really robust protection measures and a clear, licensing agreement tailored to this AI use.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I can see too with creating logos or creating any kind of graphics and stuff like that. I have heard of situations where it's someone else's graphic or a combination of. And are you seeing a lot of that?
Yes, again, you must credit, even if you are writing something and it is written by AI, it would be good at the bottom that you could say, this was co-written with AI. Proper crediting of AI generated works is essential to avoid those IP infringements. If you are using AI to create a trademark of some sort, it is a really difficult thing right now because robots and AI and animals can't own the IP of what they create. And so you have this sort of lingering place that you had the idea to create it, but AI created it, but they can't own it. And now you don't own it because the robots created it. So it's a really funny time at the moment with the laws of AI. But businesses should disclose when content has been generated by AI and, provide the correct creditation to the creators of the AI algorithm. And this transparency builds, first of all, trust and credibility amongst, the public and the stakeholders while mitigating those legal risks.
Wow. And in the space right now, how fast is it growing? Because I know I've had this conversation multiple times with multiple entrepreneurs about how fast the industry is growing and what they can expect. Like,
Yes,
mhm.
it's growing very fast. I can't even tell you of warp speed. I think maybe faster than Usain Bolt runs. But it's everywhere, and there's lots of cases at the moment. I don't know if you're in tune, but you can check online about a lot of authors who are suing ChatGPT because they're pulling the information. I know one case with Air Canada. They had a virtual assistant online, and there was a chap who consulted this virtual assistant online about a bereavement fair, in regards to the death of his grandmother in November 2003. And this chat box told him that he could buy a regular ticket from the destinations he was going and apply for a bereavement discount within 90 days of that purchase. And following that advice, he purchased this ticket. But then when he submitted a refund claim on this discount, the airline turned him down, saying the bereavement frame can't be claimed after the purchase of the ticket. And he took them to court because the airline was neglect about misrepresenting this information via its virtual assistant. And so Air Canada argued it can't be liable for the information provided by the chatbot, but it has to be because they implement it. So it's really why I bring that case is that you are responsible for how you use AI with your audiences or with your clients or with your customers. So it's very important. There was also another case where an iTutor group recruited by AI, and this AI system rejected these applicants due to their ages. So this was in August 2023, and this tutoring company, iTutor Group, agreed to pay out a settlement brought up from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, so the EEOC, and they provided these remote tutoring services to students in China, and they used AI to recruiting software that automatically rejected females applicants between the age of 55 and older, and male applicants at the age of 60 and older. So age discrimination is just absolutely unjust and lawful. And when it comes to technology automated, the discrimination, the employee is still responsible. So a business, any entrepreneurs out there that are using can face these legal issues when they are using AI algorithm to generate product descriptions that closely resemble anything that they want to do with their customers and the copyright material. So they can be filed for a lot of issues with discrimination, with copyright infringement, which can be very costly legal fees and damages. So this really, underscores the importance of due diligence and legal compliance when you are using these AI technologies.
Yeah. And that's a really important to note too, that when you are, setting them up to make sure that they're set up correctly using your information, and how much access or what limitation you're going to put on the chatbots or whatever when they do have to go out to the web. And I feel like, it's imperative for entrepreneurs to know, yes, you can use the information, you can use chatbots, but whoever is setting it up for you, or if you're setting it up for yourself, be very mindful of what you're speaking about.
Exactly. And you must get educated. I was at a conference, I was at a speaking conference in Italy last week, and the panel there, we all agreed that there isn't enough regulation, and there isn't enough understanding of it, and people are like scared of it, and because it's all very new, and the government is so behind and laws are behind. But at the end of the day, you need to be equipped as an entrepreneur or business owner to understand the laws and to be knowledgeable about it. It's kind of saying, well, I didn't know I couldn't speed, going 50 in a 30 zone, but you need to know that. Unfortunately, there's no excuses for that. You need to read up on it and learn as much as you can before you implement something into your company, or don't use AI. That's the other option.
Mm-hmm. 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 And there's so much growth happening right now. And I feel like AI has become, within the last 2 or 3 months, such a buzzword. You know, Everywhere you go, you're looking online, you're looking on the news, it's such a buzzword. And the funny thing about it is the average person still cannot even manage regular technology. Like the average business person goes out day to day, they don't have time to even know how to even get involved in simple technology, much less, AI. What advice would you give to them starting out? So let's say you have your business and you're using regular, you know email, you're not integrating it, and you're thinking about integrating it into your business. What advice would you give them as a newbie?
Yeah, I would say some practical tips is, if we're talking about AI, if we are, even if you're as a newbie, this might be advanced for you, but it is really basic in the artificial intelligence world. But you need to ensure that AI algorithms are properly licensed and compliant with the laws. Okay, so if you're using any AI algorithms, you are buying the license from somewhere, or using it, you need to read the terms and conditions, which is really important. And also regularly monitor your AI outputs for potential issues, to maintain legal compliance and uphold ethical standards. You really need to establish clear guidelines in your business about AI usage and protection within your organization for the intellectual property. I would also say implement procedures to obtain legal advice. So if you're not that knowledgeable, come see someone like me, and I can definitely help you understand and identify and address the potential risks proactively. And you really need to train, your employees on the best usage of AI and also IP protection, just to make sure there's a culture of compliancy and responsibility. So it's really important, I think. Also, staying updated, follow the industry publications, maybe legal blogs. I write a lot about it, so you're more than welcome to follow me on LinkedIn. And like I said, just consult with legal experts as myself that specialize in AI and IP, just to stay afloat. If I want to get knowledge about building a house, I will go to an architect, or if I want a knowledge about a new, nutrition, I'm not a nutritionist, so I will seek out a nutritionist because they have the knowledge and expertise. And then again, you can't say, I didn't know. You need to be one step ahead of the game in anything in your business. You know, if you have done a business and you've done a business plan, you would have a SWOT analysis. And in that SWOT analysis would be something about AI and IP and the whole artificial intelligence and robot landscape that we're entering.
Yeah, I think it's like hiring an employee. You don't expect to just hire an employee, throw them in the business and be like, okay, get to work, without giving them clear guidelines. And I think that's how they need to look on it, right? So the same way that they would, give guidance, is the same way that they'd give guidance to anyone that would be building it, and ensure that the person that's building it has the proper knowledge, knows what they're doing before just, building something for them and having them implement it.
Absolutely. And, I give the analogy about the house again. Like, if you want to build a house, you will do your due diligence of the builders and the plumbers and, the architect, and they have the specialty. And even, somebody who's an expert, I would still do my due diligence, because I'm happy people do their due diligence on me and ask my clients and look at, my LinkedIn profile, and I'm happy to support any questions that they have. But you have to be careful, because there are some people out there that just say, well, I know this and I know that, but they're a little bit like cowboys, because everybody's on that AI bandwagon. It is an opportunity, because we are walking into this, that so it's important that you get the right legal expert on board, or the right AI expert on board, and that comes from just doing your due diligence with them. If you're not knowledgeable on AI and you want to go to an expert about that.
And in your travels and doing your conferences, do you find that there places that are more advanced than others in terms of technology, how they're moving and shaping it?
Yes, I mean, the EU already has an AI Act. I think the UK is close there. The US, I don't think, has at the moment. So yeah, every country is really, unfortunately, going at different speeds.
Yeah.
Because it's personally, I mean, I just don't think people in government get it. And, they should hire people who are experts like myself, who've had 7 years in university and, loads of degrees and learning. But, if you take somebody like the prime minister of our country, he's very good in politics, and he's probably got a degree in economics or whatever he's got, but I'm not sure if he's got a degree in artificial intelligence. And also the laws, like the lawmakers and the law policies in AI. There's very few. I would probably say there are maybe a lot of us. I don't know that they all exist. I mean, I did a panel with some beautiful and very honorable and very respected women that were in AI. I was the only one there for intellectual property, I think, out of the 25 that were there. So, it is my professor, actually, in one of my very first degrees. He's now got a diploma of artificial intelligence and intellectual property at the University of Stratford, which I'm hoping eventually I'll do after all my other things I've got to do. But unfortunately, in the government and the law policies, they don't have enough people with that knowledge. And so, trying to pass those laws take a long time. And unfortunately, that sort of puts people like the general public not sure about things, because when a law is passed, then there's a little bit more understanding, or a little bit like, okay, we did a law here in the UK. It's a 20 zone now, and we all know that because the signposts are up. But with artificial intelligence and IP and that whole sphere, we don't have enough clarity, or I think distinctiveness in it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that technology just moves technology by itself moves fast. This is just probably moving faster than everyone can agree on,
Yes.
and because there's so much red tape in terms of the conversations you have to have and who you have to have it with, they're not able to catch up with what's going on.
Exactly. And like I said, if you aren't all the time in the artificial intelligence world, I also do a lot of work in the metaverse, which is Web 3.0, virtual reality, where businesses are set up and people are entering the metaverse. Yeah, like it's just incredible because I see so much things. And then when I try to explain it to people that are in the metaverse, they're like, or they're not in artificial, they're like, what? What's that? Like, I'm like, I already told, like, I don't have a mobile phone. And I said, in 2032, we'll all be visiting people as holograms. Yeah, right. No, I don't believe that. But believe me, the mobile phone will go extinct. Because first of all, it's low battery power. It's always being updated. And then you got to buy a new one. And we'll be hologramming it by, I reckon, 2032.
or probably even faster.
Or probably even faster. I wouldn't be surprised. We will be hovercrafting. There will be probably limited cars. People are already going on these jet packs, and trying to get across the ocean to that. So yeah, it's just moving very, very quickly.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting, right? So I think the time that it took for us to adapt simple technology was a long span in comparison to now, where in the space of 3 to 6 months, so much changed. I mean, a lot changes in that time. You know, there groups that I'm a part of where they're all speaking. Okay, well, I've been in the industry for a year, and it's a long time to be in there for a year, only because they've seen so much, because it changes so fast. And the fact that they're on top of it every single day inside of the technology. When you look at where they were a year ago and where they are now in terms of what's being built, and I mean, just the conversations, I'm like, it's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sometimes very overwhelming because, I am reading about it all the time. And, I write articles, a couple magazines I write for, but I myself find it quite overwhelming. And I'm in that space because I'm just thinking you need to slow down, but it can't slow down because it's
Correct.
just moving. I know in Amazon, in their warehouses now, they've got robots stacking shelves. But when we kind of go back to Stone Age, as I would call it, a car is like a robot and a phone is a robot. So all those things, it's just faster technology being developed. I mean, that's what social evolution is. It's a very good book by Daniel Priestley, who writes Social Evolution. And anything that started 40 years ago is what we are getting hit by. So robots were already starting back then. It's just that the impact of them is now really, really being showed. I know the first issue with AI, artificial intelligence, and IP case was actually in 1972 when a case, Gottlieb, I think it's Gottlieb, he tried to patent an algorithm, a code, and that was the biggest breakthrough case in 1972. So it was happening way before you and I were born.
Right.
We'll just keep us young.
Right.
No, but the point is, yeah, it just you didn't see these things happening because it wasn't so clear to us. And also the technology, people didn't have all the TVs and they didn't have radio maybe, and they weren't listening. And definitely social media brings it to the forefront, allowing people to post things and videos and such like that, so we can see more of it happening.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, right? Because the rollout has always been slow on everything, because you have to roll it out through every single, well, to everybody, but at different rates. I think now with the integration of social media where people can actually pick up their phones, right, and see what's going on in real time, it does make the adoption faster, which means that, it can continuously grow. And outside of even us adapting it, AI by itself is learning on its own, so that also increases the rate.
Yes, and interesting, in one of my final papers in my technology AI, my intellectual property, I had technology AI, and my paper was, do you think that artificial intelligence will ever obtain a consciousness?
Hmm.
Which was very fascinating because AI is programmed by other people at the moment. But if we kind of compare it to a parent that has a child, well, the parent programs the child with belief systems and with morals and values. So ironically, it might be something that creators of AI put their morals and values into, artificial intelligence or robots to create that consciousness. Because I know, like, for example, Sophia, which is the first robot in Singapore that has a passport, she really, if you have ever met her or watched her, she really comes across like so human, and you feel like she is just got feelings, So yeah, again, it's just moving so fast. The next thing you know it, you're going to have some robot in your house cleaning and cooking for you and all those wonderful things, allowing you to do other things that aren't, the cooking, cleaning, that aren't the time consuming things. So that's a really positive thing with robots. And your artificial intelligence, again, when I help people set up businesses, I try to work with them to implement more artificial intelligence task related things, like generating emails out or scheduling emails out, or, writing content and stuff like that. And it's just easier because it frees up the time for them to do what they're very passionate about.
Awesome. And let me ask you, in the robot space, are there any breaking technology that you think, we should be on the lookout for, from maybe your travels, from what you've seen?
Well, of course, I mean, like I said, like you and I have both agreed, it's moving so fast. But I do think like hovercrafts and single sort of robotic, aircrafts, like one man team. I've seen somebody where there's just sitting themselves in some sort of aircraft to move. That's all done by algorithms and robots and stuff. So yeah, again, we have only got the iceberg right now. It's just, and then you've got Sophia, which is the robot in Singapore. I think there's also a Russian guy who's built a robot to look like him. And, if you go, like I said, Amazon, they've got robots in their warehouse. So a lot of people feel threatened about maybe losing their job. But if they understand that, if they invest in a robot, they can then invest in their own health, because lots of people work 20, 30, 40 hours a week, and they don't need to do that anymore. They can get a robot to do most of those things and then look after their health and well-being.
Wow. Wow. And I know we've touched on AI and we've touched on robots, but can you talk a little bit about the metaverse?
Oh gosh, right. Do we have a lot of time? That's a whole different sphere, but it's very interesting. It is so Web.1 was the Hotmail, and the
Right.
the Gmail you got. And then Web.2 2.0 is the Facebook and the LinkedIn and all those social media platforms. So Web.3 3.0 is the metaverse, which is going into another place, another sphere, another sort of area where there's already shops in there, and there is businesses, JFK airports in there, Nike's in there, Louis Vuitton, and you attract people from other places in the world that not necessarily need to get on an airplane to see you. You can do conferences in there, you can buy land in there, you can set up a shop in there, and you also can connect to people, as I mentioned, who could be in South Africa or Jamaica or wherever else that wouldn't know that you exist in America or the US. And so there's lots of money and revenue opportunities to be done in the metaverse.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And I know a lot of our entrepreneurs out there. Could you give us an example? So if you had a business, right, and you wanted to get into the metaverse and kind of um, introduce your business in the platform, how would you go about doing that?
Well, it's not as easy as that, because right now the metaverse is not regulated. And especially with IP, it's a little bit difficult because there's no jurisdiction. So intellectual property law lies based on jurisdiction. So if you want a trademark in Canada, you have to trademark in Canada. If you want to trademark in the UK, so there's not an international trademark. And that's the same in there. So there is a protection of your brand in the metaverse. There's also the multi-metaverse as well. So that's another upswing. So if we kind of look at like Google or Yahoo as the multi-metaverse, and then the metaverse is something like Facebook or like Twitter. And again, it's the area you go in. So there's like Sandown, and there's so again, it's like neighborhoods in the real world. Like, do I want to live in Notting Hill, or do I want to live in Mayfair, or do I want to live out in the sticks? So it's understanding where to situate your company in these metaverse. It's not just like, oh, I'll go in the metaverse and buy a shop. There's different locations in there that would be suitable for your business.
Wow. And is that something that you help entrepreneurs with?
Yes. So, again, it's just getting educated and understanding, because like I said, a lot of people are scared of it because they don't know, but you get over that fear when you get educated about it. And then you realize, well, there is lots of money to make in here, and I can throw a conference and I can get other people involved. And, you don't even need those virtual reality glasses anymore. You can go in as an avatar and create your space and invite other people to come along to that show and educate them through there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you had to give our entrepreneurs any advice, meaning, looking at all different areas in terms of their business growth, right? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think that they really, I'm coming in from the artificial intelligence and the IP landscape, and it just requires careful attention to the legal and ethical considerations within your business. And so by proactively safeguarding your business IP assets and about implementing a really robust AI policies, you will avoid those infringements, and you will also you'll be covered by legal liability. So just stay informed, stay vigilant, and prioritize your ethical AI usage to succeed in this forever evolving digital landscape we're in. And, like I said, just get educated and embrace it, and then go forward with it and see how it will actually scale your business for the best.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Nancy, can you tell everybody where we can find you? Tell us more about all of your different avenues to reach you.
Absolutely. So I'm available on LinkedIn. I've got a personal profile. It's Nancy Steidel. You can go on LinkedIn. I do also have my business page on there, which is the Business Mission on LinkedIn. We have a website, which is www.thebusinessmission.com. I do also a newsletter, and we have topics of AI and business strategies and all those that go in the newsletter, which goes quite often during the week, and also different podcasts that we do. You can subscribe to that on our website at the bottom of the page. I also have a Facebook page. I've written a book, which has to do with starting a business. So it's not a topic we discussed today, but I do have an author page, Nancy Steidel, on Facebook. And I do have a link tree, so hopefully you can put that under the video, and then people can get in contact with me there as well.
And what's the name of the book?
So it's The Art of Analogy in Business, How to Start a Business Using Layman's Terms. So it's a very, very easy book to read. There are 32 chapters with analogy. So I give the analogy, a trademark, for let's say trademark is a bit like a birth certificate for your baby. So when it comes out, before you present it to everybody, you need a birth certificate for the baby. So I use that analogy. Or starting a business is a bit like deciding to have a child. So you need 9 months in the structure part. And then when the baby comes out, it doesn't immediately can get you a job. So you need to expect that you're going to look after this baby in order to give it the guidance for the first couple of years so it can stand. And then it can offer, the opportunity to possibly get a job and make you some money, but it will wobble in the first years. So the book I originally wrote back in 2017, where I wasn't really involved with AI and huge amounts of IP. So it is the very basic. I do have 3 other books lined up, which have been written. And the next one will have to do about how to start a business using AI. But this one I'll bring out, which is the basic foundation one. And then that gives you a really clear understanding about how to start a business very easily. And then the next book, which will be how to start a business using AI, that again will be written in layman's terms. So I find a lot of business books very technical. And if you can just understand in easy understanding, it makes, business is very easy. It's just us who complicate it with overthinking and complexities.
And I guess not understanding too, right? So it gets complicated when you're trying to solve a complex problem in your mind, right? So you make it way more complex than it needs to be.
Absolutely. You overthink it. And it's just like, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'll get a pot, I'll get some soil and a seed, and then I'll water it every day. But the challenge with a lot of people is they have a lot of expectations going into business, and they think, oh, well, my business is going to make £1 million in the first month. But it's not the case. Starting a business is really a casual journey. It's just enjoying the ups and downs. And it's like, imagine you say, well, I'm going to go do a hike up Mount Everest. Okay. So it's not like, I need to get to the very top so quickly. You need to just walk the path and not stop and not move. That's not going to get you to the top of the mountain, but just walk the path and enjoy each moment that you're doing in that business. Because in the end, you will then grow a successful business. And unfortunately, passion alone is not enough in business. You do need structure, and you need to understand how to structure that passion to make it successful.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Nancy, thank you so much. I really appreciated the conversation. I think it's impactful. I think we're going to get a lot from it today.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for having me on your show as well. I've really enjoyed it. And like you said, I hope that the knowledge that we've shared today will help those people embrace AI, find that AI is a good thing and know how to use it. And if they're not sure, they can come see me, reach out to me for any expertise on the AI and the IP side of their business.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. One tool that I can truly recommend on how you can organize and execute systems is Notion. Notion allows you to seamlessly get information out of your head and into a centralized, organized space. Whether it's documenting processes, managing projects, or brainstorming ideas, Notion can be your go-to platform. As a special offer to our listeners, you can get started with Notion using the link in the episode description. By using our affiliate link, you not only support our podcast, but also gain access to free templates designed to kickstart your journey with Notion. These templates are specifically crafted to help entrepreneurs streamline their workflows and boost productivity. To take advantage of this offer, simply visit the affiliate link below to sign up and explore the free templates available in the resource section. Whether you're a solopreneur, managing a team, Notion can be the game changer you've been looking for. Stay tuned for more episodes where we dive deep into strategies, tools that can empower you as an entrepreneur. And don't forget to subscribe to Entrepreneurial Truth so you never miss an episode filled with actionable advice and insights. Thank you once again for joining us today. Until next time, keep innovating and scaling your business with purpose. Thanks again.